Hey guys, this is FLW Tour Pro Adrian Avena, and this is my cousin here, Kyle Castellini. I just got off of Lake Lanier, which was held the 2012 Forrest Cup, and we're going to do a little recap for you. He's going to go ahead and ask me 4 or 5 questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. This way you can understand a little bit what happened to me in the Forrest Cup.
Alright. How did you choose to tackle the lake during pre-practice?
Basically, I knew going into this event, there's an event here in 2010, that's where the Forrest Cup was held. And I knew it's a deep body of water, deep impoundment, and I never fished for deep spotted bass. So I chose, after I knew I qualified on Lake Champlain, I chose to spend as much time as I could trying to figure out those deep spotted bass. And when I did that, I did a lot of research. And the research basically told me that you need to find as much brush piles as you can, but then you need to figure out which ones are green, which held the better fish. And in doing that, I spent a lot of time graphing around. I kind of broke up the lake in different sections, and I kind of tried to focus them and tried to idle around trying to find a lot of good stuff. And then I spent about 2 weeks doing that. I spent a couple days up each river. And then towards the tail end of my practice, I chose to fish everything to see where the better fish were held.
Alright, so after you figured out the lake, what was your game plan for the next 3 days of your practice?
Basically, the official practice, I had to break it up in 3 different days. One day I chose to go up the river. That's actually where Jacob Wheeler ended up winning that event. And there's two other areas, or what I considered hot areas of the lake, where I felt like I had about 50 waypoints or so in a small, maybe a 3 to 5 mile radius, that I felt like I can get bit off brush piles in that area. And a lot of times that's because there's a mass quantity of bait fish. And there's a lot of fish throughout the lake, but sometimes there's certain feeding zones and certain fish like to feed in certain areas. There's 2 areas like that, and I chose to focus one day in each one of those areas, and that's basically how I tackle my 3 days of practice.
Day 1, you call 11:10. What changed on day 2?
The 11:10 was a gift. I mean, it was surely a grind. I didn't have a fish till about 12:30. And in doing that, I mean, it was tough. I lost a 3-pounder right off the bat on a big swim bait. I got him back about 3/4 of the way to the boat, and he jumped off. And after that, man, it was about 12:30. The fish started turning on a little bit. I was still running the same stuff. I was fishing deep brush piles and also the timber edge, standing timber. And that was roughly in 28 to 35 foot of water. And I was throwing a lot. I was drop shotting a lot using my Lawrence electronics, and I was also throwing a fish head spin, which a lot of guys are aware of on tour. And a lot of local guys know. And on that fish head spin, I was throwing a 1/2 ounce fish head spin, and I was throwing a little dipper on that. And I caught a few key fish right there at the end of the day where I hit a little flurry, where I caught a couple real fast, and that allowed me to catch that 11:10. But then the second day of the tournament, I had a little bit of problem. I ran the same stuff, and I was still getting a few bites, but the quality wasn't there. And it wasn't until the later end of the day where I made a minor adjustment. I had some really good opportunities. I ended up losing a 6-pounder. I dropped him right at the boat on a top water. He followed the bait up right to the boat. And I also lost about a 4-pound spot. He jumped off on a fish head spin. So I had the bites to do really well in this tournament, my first Forrest Cup, and that really, I mean, emotionally was tough for me, just because I knew what was on plate and I knew it was at stake, just being a young professional. So I mean, I'm looking forward to getting out there again and fishing tour next year to see what happens.
So what would you have done different if you would go back?
If I would have to go back, growing up here in New Jersey, we have a lot of shallow water fishing, and I probably would focus more days fishing shallow. And as for the spots, I mean, the weather kind of messed that up. I mean, I still to this day, I really think the fish were deep to win the event. But we had a span of rain come through in Georgia. The weather really wasn't as hot as what it usually is. So I mean, more on my feet. Probably I wouldn't rely so much on my pre-practice where it was real hot. I probably would have ran some more shallower cuts and shallower boat docks. I know a lot of guys were doing that because there's a bluegill spawn going on, which you're probably familiar with that. Yeah. And I probably would have done that, would have fished the shallow a lot more.
Alright, well, we all know back here that you did good and you did your best, so congratulations to you.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll hope to see you there next year.
Yep, thank you.
Good.